Even
We're
in
back.
spite of the technology, we are back live. I don't know what's happening with technology today. It's
Me
not usually.
neither.
I mean, last time it wasn't technology. Last time it was my head wrap falling off at the beginning of the live, but that's okay. Okay.
We big
I don't
energy,
know
honey. We big
exactly when
energy.
we lost the stream connection. I hope that people can find it. If you are on the video, if you can see us, type in a thumbs up or hit the like button so that I know you can see us, because we just had to start a new broadcast because of the technical issue. So we were talking about the self concept and whether you need to be experienced in business in order
Mhm.
to have um, in order to have a self concept and a
Success.
successful business, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Hi, Anna.
And so my answer to that is, and I see y'all hopping back on. We're
Yeah,
gonna keep
people are coming
flowing
back
because
in.
we
Thank you. Thank you all for your patience. Thank you, Vivian. Thank
yeah. We in the new moon 11-1 portal. Maybe it's just a lot of energy.
It's a lot of
Right.
energy.
And
Listen,
you
you
and I
know we haven't
together
done a
is a
live stream
lot.
before. Live stream can't hold both of us.
I'm saying, like, good Lord.
Live stream
So
cannot hold us.
my answer to that is doing business is like riding a bike or learning to swim. Like the only way to learn how to do business is to do business. So
Facts.
I don't believe that perfection is required to have a positive impact and experience.
Okay.
I believe that no matter what level of success you're at, you should find the joy in that level and allow yourself to have permission to evolve and grow as the business reflects to you what level of success you're at. Right. So sometimes our standards that we hold for ourselves keep us from moving forward and having momentum because we want to be perfect. We want to get it just right. And it's like I fail strategically. And I've allowed myself to enjoy failure. Like I sometimes if I'm not failing, I'm like, is everything balanced? Because am I dreaming big enough? Because if I can control everything, where's the magic?
Okay,
Where's
wait
the
a minute. Let
adventure?
me back up for a second, because you said, how your business is doing is a reflection of the health of your self
Your
concept.
self-concept.
So if cash isn't just flowing over and over, does that mean you don't love yourself? What does that mean?
No. No, because well, I'm just giving my philosophy, and I would love for those of you live to get in the comments. And as we're having this conversation, share your ideas too. For me, I am the greatest currency in my business. I am the money. I am where the money resides, where the money resides, where the
Where the
money
money
resides.
resides, where the money resides.
I'm the
Okay,
bank.
wait, say that again. You are the currency in your business. We are the currency
Yes,
in our business.
yes. Think about it. A business creates the economy. Like we create commerce through our businesses, but it began with me. And if I wasn't here, there would be no business.
Mm.
So I don't approach my success, I don't define it by external things like that. My revenue goals, yes. Like I do believe the numbers are a spiritual coding system and they do not lie,
Okay, say that again.
right?
Numbers are a spiritual code.
Numbers are a
There, you
spiritual
hear this?
coding system.
Numbers are a spiritual coding system, and they do not lie.
They do not lie. You can't, the numbers don't lie. Your
So, okay,
passion will lie to you and tell you your event was a success. But when it closed in the red, the numbers are telling you, boo, we got some work to do. You know what I mean? Like,
okay.
the
So let
numbers
me
don't
ask you
lie.
this though, because there are also people who may be thriving in a business financially and
Hmm.
maybe out of integrity. How do we reconcile that if we're using the success and the flow of our business as an indicator of where we are spiritually, emotionally, or whatever? How can that coexist? Or are we just talking solely about self concept, which is, I believe I'm successful, doesn't mean I have to have integrity and therefore the money is flowing? Can you kind of
Yeah,
elaborate
everybody.
what you mean?
No, that's great. I love that you're making me drill this down because I do want it to be practical and applicable. It doesn't matter what the world tells you is successful. At the end of every day, you got to decide if you are successful or not.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, they use Rolls Royces and red bottoms and unintegral business practices, and they classify it as success.
Mm-hmm.
People like us, we're heart-centered empowerment professionals.
Mm-hmm.
For us, it's not successful just because it moved a lot of money if lives weren't transformed. That's our definition. And that's for me where the power is. You get to be sovereign in your life. All information is neutral until you give it a meaning and classify it, right? So you get to decide what your truth is and then live it. We get upset, we get depressed, we get overwhelmed and frustrated when we're trying to live off other people's definitions.
Mm.
It's just not going to work. Your template is your template.
Okay, so I have to ask another question then, because if, for
Mhm,
example, those of us who are either in spiritual businesses or who are
mhm.
spiritual people running um, a practical business where it may not necessarily be directly about healing and transformation, but if having the impact on someone's life is how we define success, there's a whole lot of spiritual entrepreneurs out here who are impacting people all over the place. They can't pay their bills and they're struggling. So how do
Yeah.
we address
Reconcile that.
how do we address that? Where I know so many people, sometimes I've been this person where I'm like, I'm out here changing lives, but my shit about to be cut off. What
Those are my people, though.
how does that
Those are the people
happen?
I be wanting to talk to because honestly, I say it like this when I teach on this. I say, are you the size container for the blessings you're asking for? Right? If
Ooh.
I say, God, fill my purse up with $1 million, but it's a clutch.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know what a clutch is, a little tiny one. I don't have enough capacity. And so when I was going through my different initiations and my first introduction to indigenous spirituality came through the Kemetic system. So the first goddess I met was Ma'at, who is the goddess of divine order and balance. I couldn't receive Sekhmet, who was raw power, until I had order. So I find with the artists, the creatives, the seers who be in between realms, they ain't got no order. They ain't got no structure. I can barely get them to follow their calendar. Okay. Like,
Let
y'all
me
can
say
tell
me,
me in the comments if I'm lying, if you feel synced.
right. Oh my God.
So that, everything about Earth, really the universe, is about harmony. There's polarities for a reason. So when you lean to one side too far, it begins to show, right? So, okay, I want the freedom. I want to serve the people. I want to own all my time. Okay, but you're going to need a container to channel that energy in a way that can take care of your lifestyle.
Okay, so for someone who is listening now on the replay, and if you're watching the replay, type in the word replay so that we know you're here, right? And then we
Yes.
can see that you've been here. So for someone who is listening to this and they're saying, I'm having the impact, I'm touching lives, at least one person, like I can see I'm making a difference. My finances don't reflect that. I'm listening to this woman Thema who's out there dropping these gems with Jamila on this thing that I never found heard of them before. And now I stumbled into this live. And she said the first thing I need to do is bring order. What is the first step someone should take if they've decided I need to bring order into my business? And this is not just a practical thing, but from a spiritual standpoint.
Mhm,
What's the first step if you're thinking, okay, I'm out of order, or I'm operating in chaos?
mhm.
What would be the first action step that someone can take as they're examining their business?
To speak that truth,
Okay,
because
hold on
you
for a second.
can't,
Who out here time out? Who out here typing replay and we live?
and we
What?
lie. You told them to type
People
it, so they
I
typed
think
it.
if you're watching on the replay, type replay. We are
Listen,
currently
it's a
live
lot of
at
energy. It's a
7:47 on Friday night, and 6 people just type replay.
and they hit a live.
But y'all are in the live. Okay, if
You
you
see?
are
But you
watching
see?
live and it's Friday night and it's 7:48 p.m. Eastern time, don't type replay because you're watching live. If it's some other time, there's some other dimension.
No, they were setting the intention. To
Okay.
replay it. That's what that was. I got y'all. I got
And you
y'all. Don't
told
let
me
her
to say
come for
replay.
you. I got y'all. They were
Okay,
signaling that they're going to come
maybe
back.
that was me. I didn't explain it, but Lachey says, "Oh, at least we still here."
With all the
Okay,
tech
so
issues, right?
I saw all these things say a replay. I'm like, how am I
You
seeing
was
this in
like,
real
we're live
time?
though.
Okay. So we were talking about what's the first thing to do to bring in order if you
You
feel
can't
like
change
you're out of.
anything. You can't change anything without awareness. So the first thing is to be honest, like confess. Am I chaotic? Do I lack the discipline? Do I even know how to create order? Right. And if the answer to that is no, you need to tag somebody in.
Mhm.
Right. And that's why I've created what I've created, which we can talk about when
Which
it's
we will talk
time.
about in a second, right?
Because you don't know what you don't know. If I go to a basketball game and the referee is like, all right, let's get this game started, and there's no coaches there, what you think the players going to do? They're just going to be like, well, what do we do? What's the first play? Like, they don't really know because there's no coach to tell them which moves to make. I really want my people to understand that community life is an advantage. The wealthiest people in the world understood relational currency.
Relational
They
currency.
they embraced their ignorance quickly. They didn't stall, they didn't drag it out. They embraced what they did not know quickly, and they quickly connected themselves with people who had what they needed to know. My
Embrace your ignorance quickly. Don't wallow in your ignorance. That's a gem.
Don't sit there and
Embrace
keep
your ignorance
drowning.
quickly. Admit it quickly. Lachey says it's so on time to jumpstart her Reiki business. Excellent.
I'm
Okay.
so happy.
So what about people who aren't in spiritual businesses? Do you find in your experiences that they struggle with the same kind of issues? Or is this something that you
This isn't
see more
about
prevalent in your businesses?
this isn't about the industry that they're in. We all are energetic vibrational beings. So whatever your spiritual philosophy is, um you can't function on earth without energy and
Mhm,
vibration.
mhm, mhm.
And the most successful people, I guess I would say financially successful, since we was talking about people having these shifts with their money. I've experienced shifts with my money that I wanted to smack God over. I was like, do you love me or not? So I was like, because if you can't get this done, give me back my life and let me pick another guy. You are fired. So I was having a
Can you
moment.
fire God?
That's a different live.
That's a
Don't get me
whole other
started.
conversation.
But honestly, I was like, what is the blind spot? And the blind spot was what I decided to do once I recognized I was blind. Instead of me seeking somebody who could see what I couldn't and
Mhm.
summoning that, I would judge myself for being blind in certain ways. And that was because I know how important my work is. I know how significant I am. That's why I said that self-concept piece, it's going to always boil back down to that. Reverend Ike would say, who needs a devil when you have the self-concept that you do?
Ooh, 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 ouch.
Ouch, I'm
Ouch.
sorry. I thought that was gentle. That wasn't, no.
No, the delivery was gentle. The
But the
delivery
truth
was
cut a
gentle
little
with
bit.
the words.
So
Yeah.
we end up creating chaos. But that's the power moment though. Because whatever you create, you can learn to uncreate and you can create something else.
Mm,
But to deny yourself the responsibility of owning the outcome and what's happening is how you burn out.
okay. People saying it's gentle delivery, but you still snatching edges, is what Sarah said. So
Yeah, just
Jamila at
now.
Four Seasons said something about she had to find power in community. What are
Yes, you
your
can't do
thoughts?
this without community.
Well, what are your thoughts about entrepreneurship and community? Because we see all these memes out here, move in silence, right?
I don't believe in
What
that.
are your thoughts about entrepreneurship in community? Because there are people out here who are like, anytime I do something in community, somebody steals my ideas, or they come for me, or they try to, smear campaigns.
I
All of
just came
that.
out of that. Hmm.
All of that.
Well, my thing is, there's nobody more powerful in my life than me. Like my life, my body, everything obeys me. That's how the nature has set it up. So I'd have to
Can I
give
interrupt you one
people.
second? Because people don't know your whole story. Tama's also a cancer survivor. And I was there to see that part of the journey when, she had been diagnosed and she decided she was going to heal her body. And the doctors couldn't believe it because they went in there looking for the cancer.
And it
Um,
was gone in less than 30 days.
yeah. And I saw this occur. So when
You were
she
there.
says there's nobody more powerful than me over my body, she's not just running her mouth. But I digress. I wanted, because for the people who don't know you, you're
Oh,
talking
they don't know.
about it.
Yeah.
They don't know. But what were you saying before I interrupted? So
No, that's fine because that's valid because those are my receipts. Like I can't teach anything I don't live and experience myself. That's just not my nature.
Mhm.
So I do hope that y'all can feel my energy and trust it. I'm telling you, there is something inside of you that can change your life tonight if you believe that you can.
Mm,
Our whole world is built around what we believe to be true. So when it comes to adversity, it was actually that cancer experience that made me change my definition of adversity. And my new definition is it is an opportunity to practice my power. So instead of being intimidated or frustrated with it or trying to opt out of it, I just stand up and decide and then make choices and take action on those decisions.
okay.
And sometimes it's hard as hell. Like, and I'm doing it crying and staring at the wall for an hour because I'm battling functional depression, or I'm doing it with no money out. Jamila has seen this. I remember when we moved into this house this summer, you was like, okay, wait a minute, Tamer, you're manifesting every hour. Like, what has
I
expanded
remember.
in your energy field? And
It
I was
feels like it
like,
was
girl,
6 years
I
ago,
started
but it was just so
quantum jumping. I just, I just decided, I was like, can I cuss here? I was just like,
yes.
fuck. I was like, fuck. If I'm gonna be on Earth, which feels really ghetto, you know what I mean? I better figure out how to get through the hood. You know what I mean? I
Okay.
better figure out how
Okay.
to
So there's a
navigate.
hood even within entrepreneurship. But you said something
Yes.
like you can achieve anything that you believe you can achieve. But what about the entrepreneur who has failed and failed and failed and been beaten down by disappointment, by recession, by pandemic? I saw PJ in here said, in her line of work in product and development, they have a motto about failing fast. But what about repeated failures, and not just, oh, this didn't work the way I thought, but the devastating kind of failures, like now I don't have
Yeah, the devastating
go
ones. Yeah.
anywhere financially or emotionally. And there's something that you had mentioned in another conversation about entrepreneurial trauma. Can you talk
Yes, I
about
address that. I address that because that's real, right?
what is
There are experience.
entrepreneurial trauma?
So entrepreneurial trauma is the experience of giving everything you have and being met with devastation. It did not work. And that absolutely creates changes in your brain and your body, in your nervous system. So people have post traumatic stress disorders from trying to be successful in business.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that's a real thing that I want to acknowledge. I'm not trying to bypass any of that. I have a mental health background and education training. So I'm very practical. Even though I am very radical in my perspective, this is not as hard as we think it is. So when you have those traumatic experiences, we're like, oh my God, especially if you are somebody who believes in prayer and you feel like you fasted, you prayed, you did all the ebos, you did all the rituals and stuff, and it still failed, you
Mm-hmm.
begin to be like, God, I don't fuck with you. Like you really do. Like you be like, nah, I don't think you for me. And yet you keep placing this mantle on me to serve, but where's the resources to do it?
Right.
Right? That's
Right.
a real experience. And although I wish I could say something that can make us avoid it, I know for a fact that I would not be as powerful as I am without those experiences. They activated enough in me to say, I don't know enough.
Mm.
I got to start figuring out what I'm doing in real time. I got to start training my brain. I got to start training my brain. I just want that to hit. The way my brain is functioning. I got homeopathic remedy. I got stuff in almost every corner of my office to get me through my workday because I know what my workday entails.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay. So what is your workday? What do you do? What is a womb sauna? What does that even mean? What is a spiritual business
Yes,
strategist?
because we went right into
What
the
do you
depth.
do,
We
Thema?
did.
Besides come on here and drop gems, what do you do, Thema?
So I teach women that they are able to heal everything through the art of yoni steaming. We have an online university with programs and certifications and holistic education. And I'm known for teaching women how to twerk and do cheek installations. Left cheek, right cheek, twerk a day keeps the stress away. So I do all the things. I sit with the women. I help them remember who they are. They go back to their families, they go back to their communities, and next thing you know, we got a better world, right? So I do believe that that's my primary work. And what the reason I'm talking about business is because in the corporate world, before I launched my business, I coached businesses and how to integrate technology. And I was there when we went from Blackberries to iPhones. I helped businesses make the transition. And so when I got into the womb sauna, women started popping that squat. And next thing I know, they're like, I want to birth a business. And I was like, oh,
Did they say it like that?
okay.
I want to birth a business.
Yeah, I don't know why I do that voice. But I was like, okay, sis. All
So
right, let's
dramatic.
do this. And they started so I literally started coaching them in business on the pot. They sitting there butt naked, just visualize it. Sitting there butt naked with the herbs, steam, sweat, tears. And I'm like, all right, let's go out here and get this bag.
Right.
And they would come back their next session hollering like it worked.
Okay, but what is the
Right.
connection though? What is the connection between twerking or sitting on the pot and business success or self-realizing a dream or manifest? What is the connection? What does one have to do with the other? Because let traditional or practical wisdom tell it, the success to businesses, identify your niche and get on social media X times a day and
Can I tell you how much money I wasted with coaches who didn't know what to do with me? They didn't understand that their templates of success wasn't going to work for me. So to answer that question, yes, it's all the same energy centers. We're talking about root chakra, sacral, solar plexus, right? Those lower chakras are like where your creative energy circulates the most. So while you sitting there trying to get rid of fibroids, we done made room for some new things to be born. And now here comes the business, right? So that's what I mean when I say everything is vibrational. You thought you came for one thing and walked out with something even more than what you expected. It's the same energy center. And once you start clearing the energy of the old, once you start recognizing, I need to define my own template for my life, and I'm ready to do that, it makes room and
Okay.
new things come through.
Ladies and gentlemen, and all the folks who are out here, this is Jamila. I am interviewing
Hey,
or
y'all.
chatting with my sister, Thema Azize Serwa of the Womb Sauna, who's also a spiritual business strategist. If you have a question about business
Mm.
concepts, about spirituality in business, about entrepreneur intuition, we're not asking you to ask for reading right now, but just in general, what are your
Yeah, let's
questions?
talk.
We're here to answer your questions. I've been in a business for 27 years. Tama's been in
Woo,
business for decades. We both are spiritual people. We both are serial entrepreneurs. We both have coached in business. Tama,
yeah.
while they are writing their questions or thinking about their questions, why don't you tell us about what you have going on and what you have coming up?
So y'all know we have that 1111 portal coming,
Yep, we in that
and I'm
11
real
one right
excited.
now, and it's already on and popping.
Hello? So on 1111, I have a 5-day 5-day business infrastructure training. It's called the 888 code. I show you how easy it is to lay the proper foundation for the vision of success that you have. We walk you through how to clear entrepreneurial trauma. I teach you how to do that in this 5-day experience. I teach you how to connect with the soul spirit of your business so that there's an intuitive flow in how you work your business. I also comb through in real time what is your day-to-day operational infrastructure? What's your marketing infrastructure? How are you marketing? We do system audits. Do you have the right systems in place? Are you burning out and frustrated because you don't have the right systems? And it's a hmm?
I said systems. A lot of us
Yeah,
spiritual folks,
systems make
we
the
all
difference.
out here in the ethers and the chakras and the spirit, that we don't have no
You're
systems.
not emailing nobody, you ain't doing the basics.
And
They
I
come
just
back
do it
to earth, come back
telepathically.
to earth.
And I just summon the clock.
Can
Come
I
on,
just go bing,
boy.
bing, bing, and they get it? It just goes and finds their inbox. No, you need a system, right? And I hand walk you through it. So it's a virtual work clinic. It is not lecture style. We dock up and we work, and I hand walk you through building your business infrastructure so that if an investor wants to come and write $100,000 check and says, show me how your business operates, they actually have something to see. Who answers the phones? When do they answer? Like the basics. If the foundation is not intact, it's going to be hard to scale and build something on top of it. So I inspect the foundation. I see where there's cracks and I fill them up, or I tear it down and build a whole new foundation that's better.
So the
But you're
888 code, and I love that
Mhm.
number 888 for
Yeah.
that abundance activation. That's a
hmm
5-day. But when you said it starts on November 11th.
11 and we meet at 7 p.m. because most people need to get through their day. So
Okay.
get through your day, put your hair bonnet on, get your whatever you got to do, and come dock up, and we're gonna work. Okay, we're gonna work. And
Okay, I
then,
got a question in the audience. Maya
okay,
said,
good.
my target market is businessmen. What tips do
Okay.
you have to get men to ask for and receive the guidance that they need?
Ooh, so what specifically, if you can follow up, like, are you offering them in?
Okay. What,
Is it
Maya, can you tell us what kind of business or what is the offering that you want to serve for these men?
Mhm.
And while we're waiting for her to type that in, I have another question from Ashley. How do you
Okay.
navigate feeling like you need more practice before you can charge money for a holistic or spiritual service being versus not being taken advantage of? I think this is definitely
Mhm.
related to perfectionism. So she like,
Yeah.
how do you navigate what to charge, imposter syndrome, but also not being
Yeah.
exploited and trying to,
Mhm.
feel perfect? How would you advise her to navigate that?
I would say number one, change the perspective that anybody can take advantage of you because they can't take from you what you don't give them. There's a reason that you have a generous spirit. You can leverage that because depending on the stage of your business, people may need to feel your energy to really decide to invest in you. And it's okay. You don't have to have any resistance about that. And you don't have to think you're less valuable than anybody else because you're not charging yet. If you're not ready to charge, you're not ready to charge.
Mm.
Go out there and sow and be generous. You'll reap because you're being in your gift. And then your confidence will build. And then this is what'll probably happen. People start saying, you got to pay you. What's your cash app? And you haven't even decided what amount yet. But the money will just chase you down because you are the currency. And
Facts.
as you begin to exchange, then that's what I mean when I say the only way to learn how to do business is to do business. It starts saying, oh, okay, I'm noticing I need to spend about an hour and a half with people. So I need to start monetizing this. And I'm noticing people are starting to give me this amount or they're asking me, So then it'll start to cement. But you don't have to have all the answers at one time to start working your vision.
Mm-hmm.
Work it right where you are. Right now, you're in a generous space. Make it empowering. It's not, oh, they're going to take advantage of me because I'm not charging. We're going to reframe that. I'm so generous that I just want to sow into my community right now
Mm.
and practice my gift
Yeah.
and do it.
That's beautiful advice. Thank you for that. Oh, so Maya's giving some clarification about what she's trying to offer to men. I'm
Okay.
creating a program where I offer a third opinion and create networks when they've achieved a status and have trouble getting unbiased advice.
Okay.
I'm not
I'm
sure
not
what that is.
clear. I don't know what that means. And if I don't know what that means, I know the men don't know what that means. I'm not clear on the primary value. But
What's
I
the
will
benefit?
ask, but I will say this. Whatever you think the men need from you, did they tell you that they need that?
Ooh.
Market research is important. Now, what my intuition is telling me for you is it will be easy for the men who need your gift to find you when you're residing fully in your feminine power.
What does that mean, feminine power? Because there's all the controversy now and the podcast fights
Oh,
about
girl.
feminine energy and masculine. When you say feminine power, what do you mean by that term?
This the signature of the Holy Mother is the ability to be in receiving mode. So when I need anything from a man, whether it's to work with him or for him to work on me, right? When I need anything from a man, y'all know Thema. If you don't, you will. Um, I summon.
They don't know.
They have no idea.
They don't know yet.
Look, the later it gets, the riskier it's going to become. So,
Friday night is Friday nights.
I too on a new moon, like you know, my energy is lit.
Oh
But see,
boy. Okay.
so anything as a woman, you know, our anatomy will leave us clues. Our anatomy goes in for a reason. And so if I need to summon the support, the attention, because I got something the brothers need, I drop into receiving mode and articulating. So my language, my tone, my energy makes a brother say, what is she over there doing? This is perfect. Can I give a quick example?
Yes.
Do we have
Please.
time? Let me
Yes.
give you a real time example of this happening this week for me. There was a brother who I've been vetting because I've worked with a lot of different men throughout the years in the marketplace doing different things. And I've learned to be particular about who I collaborate with. But there was a brother I've been watching how he moves for a while. And I was like, and then I said, let me start channeling the energy and pinging him in the ethers to see if our energy can harmonize and maybe we can offer something for the people. Long story short, I started vetting his teaching style and some of his offerings and stuff. And then he popped in the DM and was like, I had a vision about you. And I said, that worked. That worked. And when we got on the phone, the vision he had, he thought originated with him. I said, nah, brother, I sent that to you. I'm glad that you heard it.
Mm.
And we were able to come together and we're co-creating something incredible for the people, right? That's how I work with
I think I
men.
know who that is.
I don't think it's that live. I don't think it's that live, sis. I don't think it's.
It's
I think
live.
we have a
It's live.
different
I'm not
topic.
saying anything. I'm just saying I'm going in my head. I'm like, okay, all right.
That's my demonstration of like how I move in my feminine energy. Majority of the time when you're in your feminine energy, it's not about what you can give, it's about what you can receive.
Mm. So, okay, I'm going to go back to a question. Thank you for that because I was about to go
Mhm.
into a whole other tangent. Afiba wants to know if your program, the 888 code, is a good place for beginning business owners, or should we already be up and
Yes.
running?
I allow all stages. If you're trying to create your idea, if you've already created it, if you're scaling, because we work in this class. This isn't a lecture, like so you're working at your level. And the beautiful thing about that is because you're in a safe container, everybody is like, you're watching the different levels of success in real time. And you're seeing what's possible and you're learning just from being a witness to how everybody's working where they're at. It's a beautiful experience. So yeah, you will get what you need because we're going to work where you're at.
Okay. Thank you for
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Lachey wants to know what are the core key points to creating a business plan to build on? I presume she means that also
Mm.
incorporates the spiritual principles. I'm adding,
Yes.
Shay, I'm adding words to your question. I hope that that's in alignment with what
But
you're
she got it right. Let us know if we got it right. If we got it right. So if I understand, what are those spiritual principles? Y'all really want me to define like some list
or
of principles, right?
give some of give where to, what you want to start with, or what are the most important ones.
The most important one is being clear on your self-concept. That's number one. Number two, if I say, I'll give a practical example. If I say I was born to dance and to teach dance, okay, does my lifestyle have enough room for that? Maybe I'm in a 9 to 5. How much time do I have to dance? Because I know I'm a dancer, right?
Mhm.
So then you got to look at your schedule. You got to look at these things. So first you got to decide who you are. Then you got to decide, how do you set up a lifestyle where you can start practicing that identity? And then you got to decide how you're going to monetize that so that it can take care of your lifestyle. So you may decide, I'm going to rent a studio, but I got to do a whole budget for that to make sure the numbers make sense and I can afford that, so that I'm not just charging because I'm trying to compete with the dance instructor down the street. You don't know how many mouths they have to feed and if they're in their dream home yet. You don't know how they ran their numbers, right? So you got to run your numbers. You got to decide how you're going to structure that. And then you may go ahead, rent the studio. People aren't signing up for the class. Maybe I need to change this and make it virtual. Maybe I need to get on YouTube and do right. So it
I think
all
a lot of
starts with
people
your
are afraid
self-concept.
to start small, though, Tama. That's one thing that I
Yeah.
hear with people is they think there has to be this all or nothing, and that is an option. Some people go straight into, quit their job, or the job quits them, and they're like, okay, it's
Mhm.
showtime. But
You
and
can move in increments.
absolutely. Absolutely. And being able to have the luxury of having another income while you are testing things out, because entrepreneurship is
Yes.
one long, constant experiment of, does this work? Does this work? What if I tweak this? What if I tweak that? It's not one and done in most cases. So,
Yeah.
not entrepreneurship is not a cookie cutter experience.
It's
And
not.
one thing I see is people look at social media too much about who they admire or who they think they admire and what they think this person has. And they think if they can't launch right into that and have a 6-figure year right out the gate, 7-figure year right out the gate, then there's no purpose in moving forward. And they get in their heads too much and have researched something to death, but have not started anything. They've been researching for
Yeah.
years, and haven't put anything out even to test the concept. So I
And
would,
you know why they're able to get away with doing that?
why?
Because they don't have a tribe. There's no accountability.
Ooh,
So
talk about that. Talk about that.
there's nobody to say, sis, you told me you was going to launch that a year ago. What's
Okay, get
up?
out my head. Get out my head, Tama. Get out my head.
Why
Get out my
invite
face.
me here if
I'm
you didn't
feeling.
want me in your head? That's what I mean when I say tribe life is the advantage. Because you can look, I want to say this. People think it's a bad thing to use people. We're human beings. We use each other. I absolutely use my sisters for my vision, and they can use me too. But if you're the only brain, or what I call the OOO, the only operating officer,
Mhm.
right? You're going to miss what you don't even know. You can't even see. And so it's easy to become complacent when you're in a bubble.
Get out the bubble. Get out the bubble. I want to address, and then I'm going to go to one more question if we have time, Tama.
Mhm.
I want to address
Okay.
this concept that I see people talking about moving in silence. That irks
Can we
me.
please talk about that?
That irks me because it's not so much the move in silence, it's move in alignment. And sometimes the alignment is silence, but you can't be successful if you never tell anybody anything, because the person that you talk to might have the resource that you need to get your business going or to expand your business. So when I hear that, I'm always, that what that tells me is that person is wounded and they don't trust anybody. So
Mm-hmm.
they can't talk to anybody. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I always move in discernment, and discernment will let you know there's a time and a place for silence. There's a time and a place
Yes.
for broadcast, and there's a time and a place to be very intentional and strategic about who you tell and when. When you're just starting, you
And
don't need to talk to everybody, because the dream killers are always the ones who are the closest to you. Dream killer is not the one on social media.
mhm.
Dream killer is in your household. The dream killer is in your bed. The dream killer's in your family.
Who's
That's
she talking to on this live, baby? Because this for somebody.
I don't know who it's for, but somebody who's
Mm-hmm.
that far disconnected from you can't kill your dream. It's the person who
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote means well who tells you not to do it. So when
Mm.
you tell someone is just as important as who you choose to tell. And if you have an early stage idea, don't tell everybody about that. Tell
Mm-hmm.
somebody who's already in business. Don't tell somebody who's never started shit. Because they'll tell you all the reasons why you shouldn't do it. And they don't know
Mm-hmm.
anything. Okay, so I'm gonna come off that high horse.
Yeah,
But
don't take advice from people who don't even have a similar assignment. They don't even have the
ooh,
context of your questions.
similar
You know, like that's like me saying to somebody who's just trying to start, what is it like to do international business? I have said, you know what I mean? Like they have no idea. So anyway, I will say this, and this is so important. And I've learned this. I'm gonna put on my mogul mind. That's how I'm gonna answer this.
mogul
It's
mind.
okay to be communicating and be in silence. Let me show you what that looks like, right? Because I have systems. People think I live on social media. They don't know that I have systems that can communicate my thoughts when I'm sleeping in my bed.
Mhm.
Silent and resting and restoring
Mhm.
my energy. And why do I have that? Because I set it up that way. I got clear with who I am, what my lifestyle needs to be like. I am a highly sensitive entrepreneur. I'm very empathic. Because I'm a public figure, I just went through a public smear campaign that broke my heart, but didn't break my money. You know what I mean? So I use systems.
Ooh.
I use systems. I use technology so that I can rest properly.
Mhm.
I have a community so that when women are accusing me of not being who I am, my sisters are going live and telling the world who I am. You don't have to
Mm.
be black or white. There are shades of gray. Okay, I'm in a quieter space. Let me make sure my assistant has the marketing campaign scheduled correctly, because I'm going to go take 3 days off and sit in the spa or go lay on the beach and restore you can make moves like that when you envision that.
Right.
That's what I mean by the self-concept. Do you even see yourself of worthy to decide each day who you will be?
Mm.
Or are you running on autopilot? Are you alive but not really living full out, not really present? Y'all, can I give a quick example of how
Yeah.
your niece challenged me on this? Because
Okay,
I
talk
think it's a
about it.
bless to people.
Talk about
Zariel,
this this old soul in this little person's
ooh,
body.
ooh, she be giving me work. My 8-year-old, y'all, is already trained on Google Calendar. She is definitely my child. And I was fussing with her for not sticking to the calendar. And she came in my room and she said this, we need to renegotiate. I said, oh, okay. I said, okay, I'm listening. And she said, Mommy, don't you own all of your time?
Oh, somebody's
I
been
said,
paying
oh, shit.
attention.
I said, oh shit, where is this going? She said, why don't I have the freedom to decide what I want to do with myself each day?
So what did you
Oh, what am
say?
I
What did you say?
what am what am I supposed to do with that? I froze for a second because I was so shocked of her awareness of this principle. I said, you're right. I said, so let's talk about, now I need to teach you about responsibility. Because with freedom comes more responsibility. I don't mind giving you the freedom to decide what you want to do, but if I see you not choosing or making bad decisions, don't ask me for grace. I will bring you accountability because you've asked me for greater freedom. And so we were able to negotiate, and oh my God, she started waking up when she wanted to and getting her learning time done faster because she wasn't stressed and trying to run her mother's template. She recognized at 8 that she has her own. You can live the life of your dreams, but you got to define it. You got to refine it. You got to master your vision. You got to tend to your vision. I hope this is helping.
It is based on the comments that we get. I've been putting them on the screen. Do we have time to take one more question?
Yeah, I
Okay, Marie
got time. I
Fabian
told all
said,
my husbands I'm with my sister tonight, so
all
they
her,
be fine.
yeah, when she says all her husbands, she meant that. That's a whole
It's a real thing.
live. Okay, she's abundant in all ways.
Perpetual
Marie
overflow.
says, as a wardrobe style. Oh, did I just lose it off the screen? Hold on.
Oh no.
No, I see it. It scrolled off.
Okay.
Okay. There's a question about niching down. As a
Okay.
wardrobe stylist, the issue of niching down has been a huge question mark from my past coach. Can you talk more about
Mhm.
niching down when you're a super nurturer? Is it absolutely necessary to niche down?
I think your primary functions in your business should be driven by what lights your soul up. I
Hmm.
hear people say, like, because I'm big energy, it started with yoni steaming, but everything a woman needs to be healed, she can find at the womb sauna. I have a whole empire of offerings. And I've had coaches say to me, Tam, that might be too much for people. When really it was just too much for my coach. They didn't really know what to do with that. Right. No shade. I'm not, did that come off as shade? I'm not.
No, it didn't come off as
What's
stage
your
shade, but but part of I think what happens in the coaching industry is one, a lot of coaches aren't open to feedback, and two, a lot of
Mm,
coaches market themselves in a way that you need me because I have all the answers. So to hear
right.
somebody openly say they didn't know what to do with me,
No,
um,
they didn't. And I didn't even like, I'm not even hurt or angry about that because I've processed that already. So for
mhm,
those of you who've had that experience, I want to offer you this. Learn the cost that you had to pay emotionally to think somebody else needed to define you. Define yourself, really own that. It's time for me to decide. So to answer the question about niching down, when you are creative and you have a lot of ideas and offerings, you're going to need a business operations manager to ground that energy, right? So for one, you need to think about developing your team and people to work with you faster to help ground that energy, because you probably start a lot of different things, but then don't always finish it and tie it in a bow, right? And make it scalable.
mhm.
Because when you have too many ideas moving at one time, depending on your level of mastery with focus, right, you can get lost in your own ideas and not know it because you just enjoy creating. So for all of my really masterful creators, who your genius is to pump out the ideas in your business infrastructure, you need to have a team of people who their genius is implementing your ideas. And then that way things
I have
get
too many
done and you can still be who you are, which is a visionary, and you can have the support to be that. But if you have to implement it and envision it, that might be where the conflict is. And
right.
that might be why certain things aren't getting done.
Oh, that's a good answer. Okay. I think we're going to wind down
Hmm.
these because we it's almost 8:30. I
Oh, wow.
Sarah
You know how
says,
we go. We
I
get
love
lost in
that I
time.
have an empire of she said I have the quote, I have an empire of offerings. She said those words are
I do.
going on my mirror.
Do y'all
A
know
lot of
the
people are
difference between a queen?
relating to that multi-talented, multi-idea, multi-passionate piece that's really resonating with people in the comments in the
Can
chat.
I say, give the difference between a queen and an empress?
What's the difference?
A queen has one territory that she manages. The empress has many.
Bloop,
So go
bloop.
ahead, empresses that are here listening, and reign. And if you've invested in doing womb work and embracing your feminine power, you are going to be creating multiple things because women are fruitful and multiply. It's our nature.
Hmm.
So I have to have a feminine business model in how I express my creativity. The patriarchal model does not work for me at all.
What okay, we talked about receiving as feminine energy, but what is a feminine business model?
It allows me to be in my genius and relaxed and in receiving mode majority of the time. I'm not forcing much. I'm accepting and allowing, and I'm centered in my joy. And because I've learned the value of that magic, things are coming to me. People are Googling me. because I made myself Googleable, right? People, I'm walking through the store and they're looking at me like, who is that woman? And what does she have for me? And I'm like, girl, I'm in here trying to buy some greens. And you try to put me to work. This is why I started going to the grocery store with hoodies on. I'd be like, I won't be bothered today, right? But this is what I mean when I say, like, okay, when you refine that self-concept, it's like everything else unlocks from there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, lots of agreement and co-signing here.
Yay, I'm glad it's
Yeah, a lot of
resonating.
people really love the Empress versus Queen explanation.
They
Okay.
felt that in their body, huh?
You felt it. Lachey said, I've learned to embrace all the creative things I excel at and not water it down. It makes me not satisfied.
Yeah, don't be an entrepreneur and then not be happy. Like, you could do that in corporate America. If you're gonna be
Yeah.
an entrepreneur, like,
Listen.
the whole point is the joy and the freedom.
The joy and the free. Okay, I have some 2 cents about that because when I only did a year in corporate before I realized I didn't want to be there, and then the second year
Mm-hmm.
was me building up the business so I could roll out. And I didn't feel ready, but it came to a point where it was like, in order for this business to sustain me and have an income, I have to devote myself to it full time. So I'm at a
Mm-hmm.
conundrum. It's, it won't be sustainable until I give it full time, but I can't quit until it's sustainable. However, the
Right.
point I wanted to make, which is now temporarily escaping me, is there was a reason why I brought this up.
The joy and freedom.
About joy and freedom. That's what it was. It was joy and freedom. Thank you. So my first idea when I started my own business was to run it as if I was working for the company, the corporation, and I had Monday through Friday business hours of 9 to 5, and everything was like that for so long, for so many years. And what I realized after a while, because I also was dealing with clinical depression and anxiety disorder and all of the PTSD, OCD, all the things. And Monday mornings were especially difficult for me, and especially when I was at the height of the depression, which always tended to coincide with the depth of the lowness of my finances. And so because the money wasn't right, it was playing off the depression and vice versa. And I had an epiphany one day, because Monday mornings were the worst. I would have more panic attacks and more severe panic attacks on Monday mornings. And one day I was just like, oh, wait a minute. I make my own hours. Why do I even have to start my work week on Monday? Who said my work week started on Monday? That's just what I inherited from a corporate structure. I already played with my 9 to 5 hours, but my work week was still Monday to Friday. And what I decided was that my work week, hence and forevermore, was going to be Tuesday, starting on Tuesday. That one change did so much for my mental health. It didn't change what I needed to do. It didn't change my deliverables, because at the time I was still working mostly in marketing. But it changed. It took the pressure off of Monday morning, and I was able to start my week more grounded and relaxed, and it changed my joy. But I was like, what's the point of having all the freedom if you don't actually be free and don't act free and walk free? And I was like, the first thing I can do is change my time, change my calendar, and just let everybody know I work Tuesday through Friday. And nobody pushed back. Nobody cared.
Because it's your vision.
But I was just like, why didn't I do this sooner? Because for years I was suffering through Mondays in a way that didn't, and nobody required it of me, but I thought I had to be an entrepreneur a certain way. Until I started actually listening to my body clock. I had already listened to my body clock about what time to start work, which I already knew I was not an early morning person, and how I wanted to start my day. But it never occurred to me that Monday doesn't have to be, according to what? Who said Monday had to be the start? And so I was like, well, I say Monday don't have to be the start. I'm not doing this on Monday.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that about the joy and freedom about.
And I love that.
No, go ahead.
I love that, because a lot of us do start businesses but function like the employee within our own business. So there is a purging and clearing that needs to occur in your perspective of who you are and your role as, like, I'm at the top of all of this. I
Absolutely.
can make the decisions.
I
And
didn't I didn't take
I go
ownership
through that.
of it. I didn't take ownership of my freedom. Basically,
Yes.
I went from one slave driver to another, except the second one was me, but I was still behaving the same way and mistreating myself. And how was it any
Ain't
different
that
than
wild?
somebody
And didn't even know it for years.
for years? And I was doing it for years. And the reason why I knew it is because my alignment system, also known as my emotions and my energy system, was telling me something was out of order. But
Mm.
but I could not see that I was part of the problem. I had to fire myself, start
That
over.
part.
Like I did all this liberating myself from the quote unquote corporate plantation, but then I just created a Jamila plantation and was just as abusive to myself.
Ouch.
And then I
Now
realized,
I get to
oh,
say
this is
ouch.
so out of
Not just
alignment. It's so out of alignment. And one of the
yeah.
reasons, it was a layer of the depression, and actually that took off a layer. Now there was other things going on too.
Hmm,
But
hmm.
Phoebus said, wow, I'm not the employee. Right.
No. You the worker bee, and you're supposed to be the visionary.
Supposed to be.
Promote yourself.
Right. And but
Promote
yet and still I
yourself.
can see something that was so obvious, like the structure just for how you work is broken and it doesn't work for you. It might work for other people, but it don't work for you. It's
Mhm.
actually contributing to your stress. Simple
I
change
said,
of change your working schedule.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I was getting so
No, go ahead.
excited.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So one of the recent enrollees in the 888 code, this is what got her to sign up. She was like, Tama, I'm struggling to get my website done. I said, okay. I said, are you a website designer? She said, oh no, that's not my genius. I said, well, who's designing your website? She said, me. I said, okay, sis, do you hear it? And I was like, "See?" When you put the glasses there?
Mm-hmm.
I said, sis, why haven't we outsourced this? I want to say this, and I just feel like it's going to be medicine. I don't know who this is for, but you are worthy of relief. Stop trying to prove that you can do so much and using that as the evidence that you're successful.
Woo!
I don't know if mama
Yes.
taught you that. I
You gotta
don't
say that
know
again
who
because
taught you that.
that is such a thing of we have to be doing all the time. And that is not healthy. Not healthy.
It's
I'm gonna
not.
read this comment real quick from
It's not.
Sarah. She said, thank you for teaching me that
Okay.
my day is Wednesday. I always thought I succumbed to the quote hump day slump, unquote, but then I started working for myself. I took that day off. Didn't know at first why it felt so good, but then I learned that I was actually born on a Wednesday. It's my day to do what I want.
I
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
She
Yes. Hi,
said, while y'all calling it hump day, it's my birthday.
girl.
I love it. That's so cool.
Okay. All right, girl. It is 8:30. Say
It
again
is.
what you offer through the 888
Yes.
code, how people
Because
can
I
learn
got
more
something for
connections.
y'all.
Oh, oh, she got
I
some.
got something
We
for
like
them.
specials
I
and
got
deals
something
too.
for your folks. So again, the class starts 11:11. I really hope that y'all get in there. If you need this, if you resonate with it, you can go to the wombsauna.com/events.
Put this in the
Go
chat.
look at the offering and see what I've put together with the 888 code. Okay. And if y'all know how to reach me, if you have any difficulty finding it, but it's there. Now, I changed the rate literally today. We were in early registration mode. But if you're catching this live and you have not registered, you can use the promo code Jamila in all
Oh,
caps, her first name.
promo code.
It
Okay,
lets me
let me
know
put
that
this
you
in the
came from
chat.
her. And I'm going to give you a little hookup so that you can get the early registration rate on the full pay registration. And yes, in sisterhood, I pay my sisters for their support. I do that. Okay. So I'm letting y'all know she's going to get a little kickback for everybody who comes into this
We love
experience,
thank you money.
because that's what we do with each other in my tribe. That's how we
That's what we
move.
do.
So if you really resonate with this and you're like, okay, I need to get my business organized, even the time piece, like I teach you time in, on, and out. We set up your calendars and stuff. Like we do all of this in the class so that you can have that foundation. I am here to help and support and activate you. Okay, so go there. And if you have any additional questions, let me know and you can reach out to me and I'll answer. But the class is filling up
It
and I
is.
do cap it because of the nature. Yeah, we're about 55% of my enrollment goal. So
Oh, I
we
gotta
got
read
it.
this comment to you. Rakita
Mhm.
is in the chat, and she said, I'm in there. This is my second time joining
Her
888 Club.
second time.
It leveled me up then, and now it's time to do it again. So, Rakita, what was your biggest takeaway? You said it was a level up for you, but I'm curious, and I think people who are considering 888 code would like to know, like, what was specifically, how did it help you in your business? What was the big takeaway
Yeah.
from it? Meanwhile, Sarah says this whole live was everything. So many gems and jewels and blessings.
Yeah.
Thanks, Empresses. What a way to kick off this new moon energy. I can't wait to sign up. Thank you, ladies. Rakita, if you're still
You're
in
so
here,
welcome.
let us know what your takeaway was. And I know Rakita personally, and I've seen the glow up in her business as well. So
people come back because literally it's a working clinic. And you know, I think you and I've talked about this in private. Like, there's not a lot of spaces where entrepreneurs can dock up and work together and get things done. So they're like, yeah, I need this again. I need that energy. I need that container to get some things done.
Yeah. That body doubling technique of docking up and working together, as someone who's neurodivergent, I am more productive when there's another person virtually or physically sitting next to me. We don't have to be talking, but they're working and I'm working, and I get more done that way. I didn't know that was a neurodivergent or neurospicy thing until a couple of years ago.
So I just learned that this week because one of my executive team members, who she lives in another state, she called me. She said, listen, I know you've been giving me instructions on this task you want me to do. She said, but I need to come. Can I come spend the weekend? And I said, of course. So that's a real thing. That's a real thing.
It's a real thing. Okay, Rakita followed up. She said the biggest takeaway was the time management piece and properly setting up my calendar. It was just so encouraging to be in the space with the others. So there's a community.
Oh, that's great.
Here. It's not just lecture, it's community.
No, we're working together.
Awesome. So, okay, if you have not, Phoebe says she goes to the coffee shop, and PJ says body doubling is incredible. If you missed the URL, I'm going to put it back up in the chat. And I'm going to see if I can put it on the screen for the 888 code. You can go to the wombsauna.com under events, or you can also, I created a short link, bit.ly, WS, which is womb sauna, all lowercase, WS 888 code. Make sure you put in promo code Jamila to get that hookup. How long is the special pricing? When do they need to register to get the special pricing?
Lock in before tomorrow evening, because I got to be fair, because the rest of the marketplace ain't getting this hookup. It's for y'all.
No, this is the Jamila's live hookup. She actually went in and changed the pricing just for us.
Changed the pricing for y'all because I want to make sure you can get it.
Yeah, if you're on the live or if you're on the replay and it's still like Friday or Saturday in your time zone, you can still get it. After that, if there's space, you can still get in. You just won't get that special hookup.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, this has been so juicy. I feel like
thank you for sharing me with your people and your platform. It's an honor. You know how much I love talking to you, and it's even better out loud in front of everybody.
Oh my God. And we were so well behaved today.
We really did good. Really, I'm surprised.
Well, that's because we had so many juicy things to talk about on the entrepreneurship side.
It's true.
Okay, but we're going to end on a juicy note.
Okay.
End on a juicy note. Because of who you are and the kind of work you do, and this is a follow-up to the twerking and V-steam. What is the connection between orgasm and abundance?
That's where you want to end.
That's where we're going to end it today.
Girl. Pleasure is medicine.
Pleasure is medicine.
If I ever need to alter my brain, I go bust a nut.
I almost spit out my
okay. It fires off. Well, you asked me now.
I did ask, but I thought you were gonna be dainty with your answer. I don't know why I thought the answer was gonna be dainty.
Why would you think? You know me.
So dainty, so demure.
You just ushered in Thema After Dark. Like what?
I know, and I'm like, Jamila, why did you ask that question? Because go ahead.
No, seriously. You know, there are studies that show women in particularly who live an orgasmic life and get a minimum of 7 a week, they have lower incidence of dementia, arthritis, They age differently. I want women walking like a penguin. Those women are happier.
Wait, did you say
They
walking like
they negotiate better, like a penguin. A
a penguin?
penguin. Okay. That's what let me prophesy. I speak and decree and declare. There's somebody on this live right now. I rebuke the spirit of dust. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Activate. I rebuke the spirit of dust. I rebuke that demon, that cobweb demon. Be thou loosed from thine infirmity. And go get you some on a Friday night. Won't he do it? Yes.
Will he?
Yes.
Won't he? Will.
Go ahead and get you some so you can get your business moving. Because what happens is you fire off the happy hormones while you're in that moment. You're able to see in between realms if it's being done correctly, which I pray it is. And you're able to call in. You can use that energy.
Look at the
I have
comments.
gotten off of, listen, I don't get off of my husband's and I don't have no money afterwards. No. No.
Does it have
I
to be
use
partnered? Does it have to be partnered?
no, it could be anybody. It's sex. It's just sex. You know what I mean? So it's just energy.
Okay, I'm just
And
clarifying for the people because
let me
somebody
tell
right
you
now,
how
I don't
powerful.
have anybody. Da, 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 da.
No, that's a good question. And
Or
that
that's
energy is so
yours.
potent that it got all of us here.
Wait,
That's how
question,
strong
and
the
you're
vibration
speaking in
is.
tongues.
Sure. Come on
Are
now,
you
and
sure,
praise him.
Lord?
I don't know why I'm like this, but I love that I am.
Praise.
But in all seriousness, even if you don't have a partner and if you are in the practice of self-pleasuring, when you go into those altered states, when the climax is rolling in, that means your brain is changing. Okay. When that occurs, call down the money. That's when you say $50,000, Holy Spirit. That's when you let it out. That's when you that's when you let it out. Okay.
Okay, Sarah said that was me waking up Wednesday morning, got 2 new
Amen.
contracts that day, and hit the lotto that night.
I'm not lying now. I don't lie.
Oh
You will
my
know
God.
the truth and it will set you free. Go get you some. I do find that entrepreneurs who have a lifestyle that is pleasure centered have higher cash flow.
Cash flow. You heard it here, folks.
Same energy centers, root
Flow is
chakra,
flow.
sacral.
Energy is energy and flow is flow. And that's probably why I asked the question. But I also feel like somebody in our audience needed to hear that specifically, that something in their business is tight and not flowing because something in their personal energy is tight and not flowing that could be very easily remedied with the release of sexual energy. So we're laughing, we're tee-heeing and whatever, but there is something, there was a reason why I asked the question. It's now coming to me why. But somebody
And I teach that class too.
well, yes, Thema teaches other classes besides the 888 code.
So no, seriously, that's important. And if that is you, if you're listening, you don't have to say if it's you or not, but if that's you and you're listening, when you do have that moment and you find the courage to do that, please let it all out. The grief, the disappointment, pick a lover you can offload on who's strong enough to take that energy and transmute it, right? So really offload that energy so you can get back to work.
All right, you heard it here. Offload the energy, inload the cash. Get the bag.
Make it rain, Holy
Make it,
Spirit.
make it
Make it
rain.
rain.
She did not say make it
I'm
rain. Okay,
preaching now.
do you want to keep going? Oh, we need to wrap this up.
Don't get me off the leash. This will turn into a completely different live. You already know me.
Crystal said we heard it here first.
No, thank you all for being here. And I love that we can just cackle and just have this conversation.
Yes. Thank you for coming to our very prim and proper live on spiritual entrepreneurship the holy way with Jamila and with Thema.
Let me get back in order.
The rated G version.
The PG version. For those of
Chop
you
it
who
up.
would like the R version, join us after midnight and get a private invitation.
Ty
Because
says,
that
always
version
a
does
blessing
exist.
catching you, Jamila, and having Tama made it that much extra. Keisha said, wow, I sure learned something tonight. Portia said, roll with it.
And she wants to keep going. No, it's
No,
important though.
I'm calling it. I'm calling it off because I got some new moon shit I need to do. Crystal said, this is very demure version. This is the very demure.
Demure.
Very demure.
Everybody put your pinky in the air. Everybody put your
I
pinky
can't,
in the
as
air.
a Delta, I can't do that.
Oh,
That's
okay, okay, my bad.
AKAs do that. I'm just, it's all jokes. Don't nobody take that too seriously. But there will not be a screenshot of me running around with my pinky in the air.
You said nope, nope.
Nope. He just said, I'd like a private invitation, please. Okay.
They want to keep going.
What?
I ain't know
Seriously,
these people got down like that. I ain't know they got down like that.
wait a
I'll
minute.
go if you want me to keep going. Like, we can go there.
We still got a whole bunch of people in here. All right. We're going to go, we'll just go 12 more minutes. Up to
Okay, 12 more minutes. All right, what you want? Where you want me to go next? What you want me to
He said, no, man. Somebody said, when's the after party? No. Okay, so where are we going to go with this? I don't know. I don't have.
What do y'all want? What do y'all need from
Y'all
us? Like,
ask the
where else
question.
y'all want us to go?
Y'all just want us to keep going with the chat, or y'all just want, y'all got a question? Oh, I have a question while people are typing whatever. For the 888
Okay.
program, is that open to men and non-binary gender?
Yes, it's open to everybody.
Okay.
Mhm.
Is it open
Yeah.
to only Black women, or can everybody come?
No, everybody can come.
All right, just check.
Everybody can come.
Get those questions
That's the
after.
only program where everybody can come,
Okay.
really, because the other ones are more, it's different kind of content.
Okay. So I think we're being very demure right now, and there aren't any other questions. People are just, commenting.
They just wanted to see us act up. You see
Right.
me
They
do
want
us?
to be a fly on the wall for those other conversations.
Maybe we'll do another live one another time, but I ain't have it tonight because
Okay,
I'm
wait.
being a
No,
good girl
comments
tonight.
are coming. Somebody said 12 more minutes. Continue with someone else said continue with the current topic. Someone said
They
I'm
really
so
want
full.
this.
I don't have any questions, but Carol said it's been 18 years for me and I need a release, a big release. I learned something.
Okay, Carol, you gotta get your rotation up, boo. You gotta get your numbers up. You gotta get a rotation. Okay. Is there a particular reason? Did something happen? If you don't mind sharing. But what I would say to you just instinctually and intuitively is you don't deserve to not have it. I know that you would enjoy having your toes sucked and your back rubbed and some other things. Like, why deny yourself that? There's nothing holy about that. Find the power and pleasure. I have found God in my flesh. So the expression I have of my sensuality and my sexuality is deeply sacred to me. I will not live without it. And I will never have a shortage of love or pleasure because it's a priority for me.
Okay.
And
You said something before, get your rotation up. So for someone
yes.
who is like, I haven't dated, I'm not seeing anyone, I'm not in a relationship, haven't seen anybody in forever, where does one start a rotation? Just how you just call it a rotation?
Again, everything is energy. I can pick them up at the traffic light, grocery store, dating apps, Facebook dating. Like, just set the intention. I'm ready to receive and I'm open and I'm available. And then start preparing. Start dressing like somebody's coming, like they coming. You remember in Let the Wound Be Heard when I started affirming the brothers are coming, everybody started going off like, what? Where they at? So, set that intention. Like, instead of saying, I don't have it, start saying, nah, let me get your hand mirror. Look at her. See how she looking. See what they going to see.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay.
And start preparing to receive your lover. Mm-hmm. Set the intention. You're powerful enough to call in everything else and every other area of your life. You apply your faith in some, and this is no different.
So Carol followed up, said, yes, something happened and it was horrific. So there's some trauma there. So Carol, we're sending you all the love.
Yeah.
And today is a new day. Today is a new day.
Mm-hmm. Deep bow, sis. We hear you. Any other questions?
Um, what do you do if your relationship energy is off and it's affecting your business?
Ooh. Okay, so now you're in the back of my closet because I am literally creating a teaching on that,
Oh,
like in right now, that I have not launched or even said I was going to
I didn't know
launch.
that. I didn't even know. Well, we've
Oh,
just
what? This eye right here don't sleep. This one don't close. Okay, so mm, I don't think women understand why they should not mesh their love life and their business and their mobile identity. A lot of women have this fantasy, and I just reposted a post about this on my Facebook, like Mariah Carey and all these women who, I want my success to include my man or my lover or my partner. And I'm like, what is the resistance to just having your success for you? Because if something happens to that dynamic, it's going to affect the business.
Mhm.
That's just the reality of it. So anyway, it's not that you can't, but I really across the board don't recommend that you do. But if you are having that experience, you might be outgrowing each other. And when we begin to resist that reality, it creates unnecessary suffering. Just accept and allow that we are outgrowing each other and we need to make some changes in how we function in this aspect of our dynamic.
Yeah.
And sometimes separating it can be the solution. Just saying, nah, we're just going to be lovers, but we ain't going to be business partners. So we're not going to, or I'm looking for my lover and I'm so sad about it, I'm not able to work.
Mm.
Right. So if that's what's happening, then prioritize finding a lover and don't feel guilty about that. You may have been taught that you're supposed to prioritize your career, and then all these years passed and you're like, my bed is too cold. It's okay to say, nope, I'm focusing on getting my lover and I need to manifest this and keep this bed warm and get back to work when I do. So universe, you listening? Because I'm about to go hop on a few and figure out which one I'm going to pick, or I might pick them all. And then I'll get back to this business.
All right. I'm going to the
Did that
comments.
did that answer the question?
Yes, I'm going to the comments. More from Carol. She says she's getting healing, but it's hard right now. Thank you, Carol, for sharing and trusting us.
That's so vulnerable. Can I offer something to that feedback? Some of my most profound healing moments of the trauma in my body came from men. And for a while, I thought it was going to come through, the womb healing work and all that. But the thing that I discovered in lovemaking is that when somebody is anointed with body work, they can move energy and old information out of your body. And it was through my experiences with some of my husbands that I discovered that. They literally got in there and said, let me move this weak man out of your body who violated you. And I had never experienced something so sacred to be able to know that my woundedness did not deny me pleasure or joy or love or comfort.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would not have discovered that if I had kept playing by the rules I was taught. I had to abandon those rules and create my own.
Okay, so Thema is the spiritual business strategist, but she is the womb healer.
Y'all got me doing some other stuff tonight.
This is that womb healing stuff. So thank you for that. PJ restated her question. Portia said, wow.
Okay.
PJ says, question, I'm a nationally recognized patented inventor. And I recently started a business alignment consulting business, but I'm still a tidy bit uncomfortable with the world knowing that I have gifts. And any advice? I went through that. I came out of the marketing background, and I was taking a break from being a freelance marketing consultant. I had just come out of this really horrific, abusive, long-term contract where I had never experienced anything like that. It was such a disempowering environment, and they were also playing money games. And I was at the height of my depression and anxiety. And I was like, I need to do something just to occupy some time. I'm not ready to go into the next project yet. And I got a little job, little part-time job I didn't really care about, but I just thought it was fun at Sacred Circle. And um, when it actually evolved into me doing readings there, I told them, I said, I work in marketing, I work in social media. Do not put that I'm doing readings on your website because I don't want nobody knowing I'm doing this. Because there was such a disconnect between what I thought was my business self and my intuitive gifts and that I could share with people. And in my mind, one would cause the decline of the other. I was scared. I was in the closet. I was scared for people to know who I truly was. So if you're coming from a background, PJ, of being in the patent invention space where a certain skill set is valued in a certain way of being, it's also a very masculine way of paper accomplishments and paper credentials. You may be an environment where you were not valued for all of the other gifts or even punished for that. And my intuition is kicking in right now and saying that didn't even start with your career. That started with your upbringing about what was safe for you to be and what parts of yourself were safe to be seen. And so you now have an opportunity to heal that, especially since you out there now as an intuitive business alignment consultant.
Yeah.
You can't hide the spiritual gifts. You put out a placard with the spiritual gifts on it. So that's all I'm going to say. But it's time to integrate the pieces because we've been all in this culture in the United States. Most of us have been taught to compartmentalize and fragment ourselves and not be an integrated, harmonious whole person. And so things start feeling real weird when there's that, boundary overlap of this part touching that part. Like, oh no, what are we going to do now? So Thema, what are your thoughts about that?
I think sometimes everything you said, and sometimes we overvalue comfort. So certain levels of success don't require your comfort.
Ouch.
So even if it's uncomfortable, do it uncomfortable until you reset your nervous system around that.
PJ said that I have a disconnect, and she said, but my success in business came from my gifts. The success you experienced in your business came from your gifts, but your gifts were still hidden. There's nowhere on your patent application that asks you if you were intuitive.
Yeah.
And
that will heal the compartmentalization, actually, because we assume that the process of becoming more harmonized within is going to be comfortable. It's not.
It's not. It wasn't comfortable for me. It might not be comfortable for you, but I firmly believe that when you are authentic in ourselves, whatever that looks like, it makes it safe for another person to be authentic in themselves, whatever. And we may not even be talking about business, but being your full self liberates other people who get to see you and say, oh, she's doing it. She's doing it. I can do this too. My truth might look different, but I'm going to walk in mine. And that's the beauty of having community like this and opportunities like this is I could never have imagined myself doing readings on demand and then be out here talking in public, not just one-on-one reading. I'm out here on the whole internet for anybody to see, including people I don't know. That was a scary step for me, but it was also inevitable because it's part of my soul contract.
And your ideal client is always a version of you. So how your people gonna find you if you hiding?
Yep.
So I can't wait to see the fuller expression because I think it's gonna be beautiful and powerful.
It is. One other thing I want to say about for those of us in healing professions or doing spiritual work or using spiritual gifts, there's also another layer of past life trauma around being visible using the gifts. A lot of us, most of us, have trauma for being persecuted, exiled, fake charges, tried by jury, fake trial, tortured, having our communities attacked, all of that. So there is a soul memory of, the last 12 times I did this, it didn't really work out so good for me. So I think I'm gonna do my
Mhm.
little gifts, but I'm gonna do it over here quietly, and I'm just not gonna let too many people see it. Or I'll let a few people see it, but I'm not gonna play all out. And that's part of what gets healed. It's also part of why it
Mhm.
feels so traumatic because it is so old and happened so many times that when you heal
Yeah.
it now and you face it now, you're actually healing
Woo.
all of it, forwards and back.
Mm.
You're healing it for your past self, but you're healing it for your future selves and your future lives. So it feels big because it is big, but it's also inevitable because it's the work that you came here to do. And when Thema just said, you are your own client, how would you consult for yourself as an intuitive business alignment consultant to a client who came to you and said she was afraid of her spiritual gifts? What medicine would you offer?
Mm.
And write it down and then give yourself the medicine and
Oh,
call in
that's
the
good.
support, call in the community of people who are on the same journey, because entrepreneurship is hard to do alone. When I started
Mhm.
my first business, I was 23, 24. I didn't know any other full-time entrepreneur. I knew one, and I cried all the time. And I was in this new field called the internet because I'm dating myself. This was 1997. There wasn't no internet entrepreneurs. There wasn't no
Mhm.
classes. There wasn't anybody for me to ask. I didn't know any entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs that I heard of were all like 40 something year olds who just took the job that they were at and continued doing that. I didn't have anything in common with them. I didn't
Oh,
understand I had a
wow.
whole family history of entrepreneurship because my idea of what an entrepreneur was skewed. But you have community, whether it's formal community or not, whether it's through
Mhm.
a coaching community like Tama's 888 Code community, whether it's you just gather up another intuitive friend. That's one of the reasons and one of the ways that Tama and I became friends, because there wasn't a whole lot
Yep.
of us out here in this space. And we started
Yep.
having real conversations and just supporting and encouraging one another. And it grew from there. And
Mhm.
so if you're trying to do it all alone, you can. I did
No,
for a season, but it's harder and
it's
longer.
hard.
And in this year, in 2024, it's not necessary because
Mm-mm.
there are resources available. 1997 and 2024 is two different animals,
Two different experiences.
completely.
That's good. Tribe life is the advantage.
Tribe life.
Use the people around you. Resource their brain, resource their expertise. If you need some accountability, tag me in because I'll see you at the ledge of the pool and be like, "Whoop, we out." You know what I mean? Swim.
Oh,
Go,
that
girl.
reminds me, you said tag me in. So you're inviting people to connect with you outside of
Yeah.
registering for 888 code. How can someone get in touch with you? How can someone be in community with you? How can they find you on social media? Where can they find
Yes.
you? Can you drop
So
those?
you can go to thewombsauna.com. All of my social media handles are in the top right of our website. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. You can feed off of my energy 24/7 off of my YouTube channel. We have over 250 lectures, meditations. We have our own exclusive womb sound therapy, binaural beat list, and all of that. You could play while you're working. So I make my energy accessible in a variety of ways. And then you can call my team. My team answers the phone 24/7, 888-576-9662. So it doesn't matter
You put
your
that in the
time
chat.
zone.
Okay, hold on. It was 888. Oh,
888
888. Okay, 888
576
576.
9662.
Is it 976
And
wound? 576 wound?
yep, 576
That's
womb.
the number I remember from them damn flyers. I was like, she got
and,
her own number and everything.
mhm. And literally just tell them you want to schedule a quick let's talk call with Tama. They can schedule that for you. Say I was listening to her live. I want to schedule a call with you, and they can get you scheduled for one. And we can get on the phone and we can chat. Even with that, I just want to give an example of something. I had to decide not to answer my own phones because I give too much away.
Oh, I gotta.
And I said, and then when I got to a new level, when I became an international, a global influencer, I said, oh, we got people in different time zones all over the world trying to contact the business. I got to find people that can answer the phones 24/7. And it's got to be within my budget because I don't like to
That
inflate
part.
my operating expenses. And so literally test it and see that 24/7 you will reach a live person. So these are the types of decisions I help entrepreneurs make. You got to know yourself. So I knew that, like, if I answer the phones, I'm going to end up on that phone with that person for 2 hours for free. I already know me.
Yeah, because you be
So
doing
I
that in
don't
the
answer the
grocery
phones
store.
anymore.
You be
I don't answer the phones.
ministering to people in the grocery store. So yeah,
I
that's funny.
can't even help myself. And I know that. And I accept it, though. I accept that about myself. I don't have time to try to change it.
Yep.
That's who I am. I hired a team. They can answer the phone.
Sarah asked for the link. I put it again in the chat. And I also
Okay.
just put it on the screen. PJ, we were just giving
Awesome.
advice to, said, Tamer, you're going to push me off the edge of the pool. LOL. Thank you, sis. I will message you after the live.
Love
PJ,
it. I
it
can't wait to
sounds like
talk
you
to
need
you.
Tamer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everybody needs a Tamer.
Good thing. What a
I need a
blessing. What
Tamer.
a
I know
compliment.
my life is better because you are in it. And I love
Oh, you know I love
you so
mushiness.
much. You bring laughter, but you also hold space in such an authentic and loving way, even when you
Thank you
hold
so much.
fire, that in a way that nobody else does. So
I'm very grateful.
I love you. I
I
love you.
love you
Thank you
too.
for
I
the magic
appreciate
of
you, and I
connecting.
appreciate everybody that's with us, even those of you who are catching the replay.
Catching on the
Thank
replay.
you.
People on the replay are like, what? How we go from business to orgasms to
I
mush?
know for
I know,
all of
because
these
that's how we do. That's just how
the
we
hashtag
do.
is
You know, hashtag, what'd you say? It froze for a second. Hashtag what?
we
I don't
do
know your
everything.
audio. Huh? Your audio is gone. I don't know what happened.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I hear you say uh-oh, but I didn't hear what you said. You know, that's spirit's way of saying, if get these chicks off of this live. It's past 9 o'clock. So we're gonna go ahead and end this. I want to thank my special guest, Thema Azize Serwa, of thewombsauna.com. That's where you can reach her. That's also where you can find her socials. And she has been, this was amazing. And I also want to thank all of you who have come and participated in this really fun discussion tonight, this enlightening discussion, including those of you who are on the replay. Those of you on the live and the replay, thank you for bearing with us through the technical glitches and the multiple restarts in the video. But I hope that you received something from this, that you took away something from this, and that you continue to operate your business as the spiritual being that you are. You know, the bringing your spiritual self into your business, bringing all of your gifts into your business. And with that, I will catch you on the next live. If you want to be in touch with me, come to my website, jamilawhite.com, on my social media, or shoot me a direct message, and I'll get back with you. I hope you all have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. I'm loving this new moon energy today. It feels so much lighter than October. October was really intense. So thank you, and I see all the comments. Thank you all so much. Oh, before I close out, I'm going to just ask you all, what was your biggest takeaway from tonight? For those of you who are still in the chat, tell me one thing that was your takeaway from tonight. There may be many, but tell me one thing that was your takeaway from tonight. What's your takeaway? She says thank you. Maya says thank you. Libby says thank you. Tell me one takeaway. I just want to end knowing that y'all are leaving here with something. What's one takeaway? I don't see any comments, but I see that y'all still in here. So I'm just going to assume that your mind has been blown. Oh, Virginia says, I am the currency in my business. That's her takeaway. Thank you, Virginia. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry I missed you at homecoming. Were you at homecoming? I didn't see you. But I'm glad I was there. Okay. I am the currency in my business. Yes. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. Have a beautiful rest of. Oh, here they come. Oh, okay. All of the comments are now showing up. Confirmation. I got what I got this morning. A message making sure I have a strong foundation. Maya says her takeaway is, if you have business problems, you have self identity problems. PJ says, I'm leaving here with so much. Step into my gifts and let them shine. Virginia said, no, I didn't make it to homecoming. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you all so much. Have a beautiful evening, beautiful weekend. And you all know where to find me at jamilawhite.com if you're looking for a one-on-one intuitive reading, or pick my brain. You can schedule that online. All right. Love y'all. Have a great evening.